Okay, thank you, Bindya. Should I go ahead now?
Yes, Gaurav, you can start.
Okay, thank you so much, Bindya. Hello all. This is Gaurav. Today's agenda is around giving you the CISA directives demo, and which is designed on Splunk basically, and this is the app. What it does is it illustrates the how public sector customers, basically this is public sector customers, those who utilize any analytical solution to achieve cybersecurity requirements and their best practices with DHS CISA directives. DHS is nothing but Department of Homeland Security, and CISA is nothing but Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, right? And it also illustrates Splunk as the nerve center for security operations. We'll see the demonstration with multiple views and dashboards, and their purposes from the sample data sets which I'll show you in different dashboards in a bit. But then before, let us understand where the app falls in, how it gives value to us. So before we start, let me give you an overview where does this app plays. It is basically gives you the visibility into public sector, as I said. And in public sector, those who look after the compulsory cybersecurity guidance based on active threats. So those are the directives which we're going to see all through this demo. So depends on the customer, we can see where the CISA directives can fit in place. We can place in where now there are multiple examples we can throw, like federal executive civilian agencies, which generally has to comply with this kind of directives. And then the federal IT contractors holding government and or program data, which also need this kind of directives, and need to take actions against them. And then we go below down to state and local agencies, where the other agency guidance as a guidance. Local agency, they can provide this as a guidance, best practices for their own environment to grow in this kind of directives, and put some controls over some features, right? Then again, Department of Defense also should strongly consider implementing this kind of directives with CISA directives. These are basic departments where we can approach and see. Now in Splunk, it is the CISA guidance can be challenging for agencies due to three primary issues. So implementation of CISA guidance. Now Splunk can give streamline, develop. It can give you the basic start for these directives. Basic start, first step to any analytics driven capability within the environment. So that's what the CISA directives app they have developed with. Now difficulty, what it in any implementation of CISA, you find it is streamlining the implementation with the business processes, you need to address the risk identified with those processes, and then it also lacking the agility required, to a constant change across the environment, right? That's also a struggle. Continuous monitoring of risk posture of changing environment, and then needing centralized visibility and assessing risk across an agency asset portfolio is also another challenge, I would say. So after you work closely with customers, the CISA directives 1902, we excuse me for that. 1901 and 1902 conduct a review based on CISA directives, like they have developed a trunky solution to help federal agencies address the monitoring and reporting challenges associated with those key functionalities. So the Splunk app is the solution which is built upon this kind of challenges. So directly addressing these challenges associated with streamlining the business processes, and then providing the agile response to the changes and centralized visibility. So those are the basic introduction of this ISA directive app, what it look after, and what does it fulfill the requirement of the customer, where the challenges are. Let us start with the demo. Okay, so today I'm gonna give you demo on this particular app, where you can focus on the challenges, federal challenges, of agency challenges across the government customers, where they need to comply with those directives, and that's where we can fit this kind of applications. If they have Splunk, this app is free of cost and can be used by them. So Splunk, this directives also is built upon common information model, which is a data model within Splunk. The data model basically supports all security apps and add-ons available with Splunk. It's thousands of apps and add-ons available within Splunk, and you have to visit splunkbase.com, where all the standard apps and add-ons which are available for you to use it. Now this is the Rosetta Stone for translating data from different vendors and formats. So that's what the model does. The approach allows Splunk to rapidly operationalize organizations' data regardless of the specific technologies and sensors. So Splunk is a machine data platform. We call it as data to everything platform. When I say machine data platform, it's a data to everything platform. It can onboard any data. If you don't know the overview of Splunk, so it is not only a SIM solution, it is data to everything platform. You can feed in any data to Splunk, unless it is value. It brings out a customer value out of the data. It will, if it makes sense for customer, it makes sense for Splunk as well, and you can take out any use cases across it. Okay, so that's the other basic use case of the Splunk differentiator. Again, coming back to the CISA directive app, the viewer is presented with an overview of existing data-driven directives. You will notice we have implemented 6 out of 9 directives issued through May 2019. So this is the app which has been developed last year, and also the complete CISA directive has 9 the 9 directives, and out of 9 they have designed 6 here because of 3 aren't included. Those 3 cannot be included, 2 have been revoked and superseded, and one focuses on annual reporting. So reporting requirements that are less tactical than these 6 other directives that we have included. So this basically those kind of use cases cannot be included because of the their features. So on this page you would see we can elect to dive into any of the directives individually, dashboards and analytics. You will notice that directives are numbered first by the year, and then by the number of that year. So this is 1602, 1802, 1701, 1901 and 1801. So by that you would understand what is behind it. So year, and then the number of that year. So those are the directives have been derived that time. Then the solution has been developed with flexible hierarchical design, allowing easy navigation and extensibility. Let's dive now into closer look, getting in the closer look, and see the first 16 threat to a network. I took the um, um, took the opportunity to keep it open. We will of course come back here and check other notation, other use cases as well. So I have opened it, first one, 1602. Now this dashboard is provide focused and continuous monitoring capability around your network infrastructure devices and security. So there are 3 critical vulnerabilities associated with firewall. So these are the CVEs around it. So this is Cisco Adaptive Security Appliance and ASA, and Cisco ROM Monitor Integrity. So this is related to Cisco basically. And then directives required organizations to develop a plan of actions and milestones for mitigating these critical vulnerabilities. So around this, it's not limited to only one CVE. There are multiple CVEs which are they're available for you to filter it down and make it available for you. And you can search out all the details around those CVEs in the below panels. We'll discuss that, right? Excuse me. So so the dashboard is pre-filtered. This is pre-filtered already with the CVE numbers and vulnerabilities, ability to identify in the directive. So below the numbers is sparkling, which is sparkling. These are the vulnerabilities numbers of the affected host and affected host and the CVE related to those affected host. You will be able to find, and all those these are the top affected hosts which you can find here. If same thing, if you go down below, the similar data with the detail of the scanning happen on the date, a number of CVs related to those scanning happen on this host, and the signature of the vulnerability which they have found with the CVE number there. So this is the basic. Sorry, excuse me, it went down. Excuse me, guys. My laptop I don't have a mouse with me, so it does sometimes that. Okay. I'll move on to second, removal. I hope there is no questions. And you got the um, uh, bit of understanding what this dashboards is giving. This dashboard says the threat to network infrastructure devices and security. So it gives you all the vulnerabilities across your firewalls, which are there available in the network, and that's a pretty amazing thing to start with, and very important thing as well. Let's talk about the removal or Kaspersky branded product tag required. Now, in this is the 17001, which gives you a view around analysis of software assets, scan results, and analyzes the data for Kaspersky branded products currently installed within the environment. So all the endpoints related details. So you could see branded product installed. Um, this is this many numbers. It's not static number though. You can go and open the search from here. And those of you who aren't familiar with Kaspersky is a Russian cybersecurity company with suspected ties to the Kremlin. Kremlin, that is, the U.S. government, and on that basis, they have decided that the risk around this brand, um, to be banned on 2017. So on that basis, they have derived this directive to find out how many users are using Kaspersky as a product into their complete environment. So software. So this is where this particular dashboards giving you all the details around how many total Kaspersky installation they have found, and then the similar products and the similar products around it, and the total number of hosts which has with the names, so to host names, and then the inventory around it. So you can see down below as well all the hosts which are using the host name with the features available within that host, used by that host. Okay, this is also a very good starting point across analytics domain, where now you know the basic from where to start with, and then and from there you can drill down and take the actions further. So this is also a basic directive for your analytical process. So that's the 1701. Let's go now to 1801. This is a binding operational directives. This has three major security related dashboards focused on enhancing security on public facing emails and web servers. Basically, they are three distinct dashboards. First is it's giving the details around DMARC records, SPF, and start TLS configuration for email traffic routing and encryption. That is first one. We're gonna see that first, and then HSTS, which gives you the preloading and HTTPS configurations for encrypted web traffic. Then third is the cryptographic protocol and Cipher suites in which which they are using with email and web servers. So to gather this data, Splunk applied open source tools to scan domains and public facing policies, ports, and protocols. These tools were explicitly identified and recommended by Department of Homeland Security in a directive contents. So as a part of the solution, Splunk created data models and source types for this open source tools to facilitate repeatable, streamlined data ingestions and extensibility of the data sources. So that's where this plays. So let's dig down into email validation and encryption. We'll come back to another ones, but then let's open this one. Until then, I'll keep open the second one as well and third one as well, so we can discuss all. Okay. Yes, email validation. Though, so here you see the SPF, demarc, and start TLS configurations are primarily associated with email servers. So these are basic configuration settings. These are the configuration files, records which you can find in the email, and that's where it keeps the note with. And the model is also defined with three primary areas where SPF record will provide you the list of valid IP addresses or domains down below. Valid IP addresses and domains for messages to originate from different level of domains. Yeah. So SPF gets all the domains in lieu. Attackers can spoof email recipient by email, allowing email to appear. So this is a secondary domain to appear to be from a valid government domain that feels like it's valid, but then you see the differences in their domain naming conventions. Okay, so that actually having a corresponding email servers. They have corresponding email servers. They found two servers matching the domains exactly as they have, and that's a problem. That's what the SPF records gives you the value. Excuse me. The demarc records. This record, it will define a handling policy for messages whose sender cannot be verified through SPF or DKIM. So this is also the another value for you to validate. And and again, the start TLS as well. This is also MS record enables so that the traffic can be encrypted end to end. So this you can use it and find out whether it is encrypted or not, and generated from the particular host names, MX record host names. And if not, it will give you whether it is enabled or not. So it will give you those basic details. So in here you can see that the policies that conflicts with CISA guidance to fail to demonstrate compliance, it is highlighted for you to review, quickly identify potential issues, and for you to investigate further via event level data or other investigations. So that's basic view you get. Now this is the time of directive publication in 2018. Analysts published finding that more than half of the government domains were not operating using all of the cybersecurity fundamentals. So that's where it brings up the value. I hope you understand. Let us go back to second um, uh, directive, which is web server encrypted communications. What it does is it gives you the results of open sources or a selected scanner tools. Users can access their public facing web and mail servers to ensure compliance with HTTPS requirements and HSTS preloading. So this is all we have. You can also filter all the related details. If you don't want to see HTTPS support, you can select faults, and all those details you can put in here if you want to validate the certificates as well. So HTTPS is fundamentally important, right? That's our application protocol, and ensures, this ensures the traffic. It ensures HTTPS ensures the traffic between the sites and user is encrypted. So those details also can be shown at the bottom. Now, HSTS value is a step further to ensure that every page load is encrypted, regardless of the user original address attempts to reach the site. This is now due to HSTS being preloaded and initial page request sent by over HTTP will result in an unencrypted response prior to HSTS being forced and establishing an encrypted connection. So before that, it will give you these values and give you the preloaded um, um, uh, view for you to review. Now, further to it, it also includes scans to check the acceptance of HTTPS with HSTS for public facing web and mail servers, as well as granular results from those scans. So as you can see down below here. Yeah, this is very basic thing to start with, and which is also very important for us to grill down to a level where we are sure that this is what it is. Of course, the third oh sorry, okay, the third legacy protocol, Cipher protocols and Cipher dashboard. Here, what it gives you the review of the legacy cryptographic protocols and ciphers. So, as you can see, it is designed in 2018. There are multiple filters available across the different line of communications which has been taken. You can filter it via port, protocol, even with Cipher. Now, this pre-directive guidance servers should no longer provide SSL version 2 and SSL version 3 cryptographic protocol. So, additionally, the Cipher suits 3DES and RC4 legacy Cipher that should no longer be used with any protocol. So that's the condition. Then the page features can scan data for summary statistics in the form of a line chart, and with the granular tabular data of the scan results below. So that's the results which you can see. Now, this policy that conflicts with CISA guidance or fail to demonstrate compliance, are highlighted to enable viewers to quickly identify potential issues and investigate further via event level data or other investigations which you want to take it further from here. So this is all number of pages which you can see, and some of these ciphers which are not compliant in your infrastructure, and that's where you might have to take actions on. So that's where the starting point which you can see here to apply these directives under practice. So let's now go back to the main page. and from 1801 let us down to 1802, which is secure high value assets. And this is where the tagging is required. Okay, so securing high value assets is very important in our environment, right? And the operations around those assets, like what are vulnerabilities present, and what is the anomaly activities, abnormal activities happening from from those assets. We might have to take those into actions, and might as well feed the vulnerability data present in those assets. So those all the details, basic details, which you can find in this dashboard. So that's where so this you can say utilized now. This in here you can utilize the lookup file features. Lookup file features is an external data. You can feed into the data which is coming from the data sources, and enrich your present data to give you the visibility into dashboards reports. So these are the lookup features which has been used here, like the name they have added here, the phone number they have added, the position of the manager, maybe phone number we can get it from Active Directory and other data sources. But then the details like the position or the organizations. So those kind of details you can take a look up uh, from the external data. So Splunk also filter vulnerability scanners results or high value servers and workstations asset. So until unless the customer allows us to do that, it is feasible to of course, if they have these directives within their compliant domain, then they have to take this by themselves, or give it to the partners they would want to give the service to. Okay, by saying that, let's see here into display. This bar chart shows which vulnerabilities are the most pervasive in your environment. So with the CV numbers and the number of occurrences they have, they can show below the data here as well. The data utilizes lookups to identify the owning organizations of a respective host. So that's where the workstation and the server affected, which is given there. And the open source asset value, according to this, you have the workstations and the details around the servers within your environment. So those are the details with all the vulnerabilities and the signatures which has been triggered in those assets particularly. So that's all is there, and very basic information though even. Okay, we hope that's clear. We can move out to the 1901. Even here they have 1901 directive includes two primary focus areas which have been separated out into two dashboards. The first, domain resolution analysis, and second is certificate log management, log monitoring. You have there. So let us deep dive into DNS record resolutions. Here the domain analysis view aligns to the DNS spoofing attacks observed by CISA and industry partners. Now here, threat actors is also trying to attempt as a middleman, man in the middle attack, where now traffic is routed through another source while the activity is unobserved or unnoticed by the end user. So that's where you can see all the details from where the exact country the traffic is registrant and traffic is flowing through, and then the IP addresses, country with the city group. So same details you can find it here. Right, the view here is providing you the starting point for analysis of public facing server IP addresses and their DNS resolutions. So there you will be able to find out whether the traffic originating or we are trying to reach out to is a proper thing. And from here directly you can add this particular IP address into a threat intelligence database for being getting alerted into any traffic generating on towards those IP addresses. So you can do that in Splunk. You have that capability of doing data enrichment, and also the here as well lookup feature is also used as a DNS resolutions based on an organizationally defined set of domains, using third-party databases that is shipped with Splunk. So those are details you can find. There are other databases and sources may be implemented if from can be utilized by the customer desire as per desire, and that also can give higher velocity of updates to the customers with this particular directives. That being said, I think this is you would have here in domain or IP address. You can see if you feature out with country. Let me show you this one. And so there's specific yeah, there's this particular traffic from the US entities going to the Bulgaria via Bulgaria country, which is not a genuine traffic, and that's basic use case where you can start suspecting the domains where your users are trying to reach, and you can also raise an alarm to the security team, and raise a further no raise you can raise further analysis on this particular data, so that also you can do it from here directly. So that's a basic use case. As you can see, even if you go further, you have some of the dashboards which you can completely highlight here. Okay, that's all there. Let me take you to another dashboard to certificate log monitoring. Now, certificate transparency log monitoring page addresses directives requirement to review leaf certificates associated with a root domain owned by an organization. So very important from perspective of very high level within your organizations what has been used. So this kind of activity basically been monitored by C-level executive. They know what has been going wrong in the critical and critical domain within the umbrella. So here Splunk has this is a free add-on, as I said. Automate gives you automates the sourcing of open source CT logs from providers such as Google and Symantec. There's the feature CISA publishes with its own CT logs. That feeds can also be added to Splunk in the same fashion as other sources. This is very simple. And from this page, you can view review registrations of certificates related to their domain to observe registration and compare those with expected registrations. So that is all. Here you can find it out. After below, now going down below, you can see the calendar viewing highlighting certificates. Certificates creation and expiration date in the calendar format. So a very easy view for you to. And below, the tabular view provides a domain level information for registrations and provides the certificates. So days remaining to certificate expirations. So start and end date and number of days remaining, with the color flag of yellow when expiration is within 30 days, and so on. So if you can even color the color and alert yourself the way you want it. So more than 30 days it has been orange, and if it is sorry again, if it is more than less than 30, it will less than 30, it can go to orange, or maybe after red. So that is all out there. You can use, very important. So we can now go out to 1902 directive, which is the last vulnerability remediation requirements for internal access requirement. Now this release is basically now revoked. 1501 directive. So there was 1501 directive before, and now this directive revokes that particular directive. Now this CISA observed agencies improving their time to remediate critical vulnerabilities. Now 1902 supersedes the original 1501 directive, as I said. Then this dashboard leverages the SIM vulnerabilities data model, investigate vulnerable systems as reported by your organizations via scanning tools. Now, all the agencies, departments can quickly search or for identified CVs to discover them within their enterprise and determine which hosts are exposed. Basically, default behavior for the dashboard is to only show critical and high vulnerabilities in alignment with the directives, but the user can also select medium, low, and informational. So this is all you can have a filter here. Now the top of this dashboard displays top line metrics. According to the analyst, to get snapshot of vulnerabilities across IT infrastructure. So those are the basic one. The second row gives you the count by severity as well as the trend of observed vulnerabilities over time. Then below that, you can view the host with the greatest numbers of vulnerabilities present. and each vulnerability is whenever you hover over, you can see the details of the hostname and the vulnerabilities present. You can just click on them and deep dive down below as a filter. So that's where the bottom layer of this dashboard is the list of CVs, host signatures, and dates detected. This view enables analysts to access vulnerabilities remediation timeline to meet directive requirements. Now, overdue vulnerabilities are highlighted to call analysts' attention to open items. So you can highlight those. And this view also enables the analyst to search against individual CV. So you can just search CVs and find out the details around it. So again, on top of it, you can more after those directives, you can go to alerts. Now there are over 25 uh, distinct continuous monitoring function to alert operations team of deviations from CISA directive baseline. Now this alerts includes detect both undesirable trends, increased number of vulnerabilities, and day-to-day over changes indicating unapproved configurations have occurred or increased. So all those use cases is configured on the form of an alert, and all these alerts you can open it, edit those alerts, and you can reconfigure configure in the means of the runtime, the schedule time you want to change, or the trigger mechanism you want to change, or the way you want to get this alert to be triggered. So if you want to send an email to your email ID, you can configure your email address, send an email. You can also integrate the incident management tool with external third-party tools with REST API functionality or feature available within. And not only that, you can also run if it is specific host related details. You can run scripts directly on a central servers and manage your end assets as data sources into. So there are multiple actions you can take from once this alert gets triggered, and that's basically automates the that's basically gives you the automation around the triggering alert. So again, the um, this is all this there. I'll go show you access overview. Now this view of provides you the continuous monitoring access overview, continuous monitoring and analysis executed by the operations team. Basically gives you visibility into frequencies of apps usage, including the individual pages and users that have opened during the time. So ultimately, there are different pages answers to the questions who and how long. So that's how you can get the answers from here. Access overview. Basically, this provides the data to audit 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 operations or the auditors basically, and gives you the business process monitoring, business process around the operations. To check dynamic infrastructure around it, right? So that's all in here, and I'll go back to overview, and I'll make the last statement. So the solution basically provides the turnkey for continuous monitoring of implementation and execution of CISA directives within Splunk, and it scales with your environment and is highly extensible to address new use cases and directives for your environment. Basically, now there are three basic impacts which we have seen in this demo. One is streamlined processes for implementing and maintaining continuous monitoring. Second is feasibility and ability to change as dynamically as your environment does. Then achieve complete feasibility of assets regardless of agency size or scale. So you can gain efficiencies through visibility. Single pane of glass view into a near real-time postures of hardware and software assets. So that's basically it, guys. If you have any questions around it, please let me know. So if you want to even get another apps related to it, there are multiple apps available within the Splunk base, and you can find those apps around it. So similar apps like asset management capability, hardware asset management capability, software, and vulnerability scanners, SIM compliant data, and those all details are there available with this Splunk blog as well as in the Splunk base. So this is basically gives you the open doors, enable conversations, and tactical capture of cybersecurity funding execution. So let me know, guys, if you have any queries, questions around it. I'm happy to revert back. And I hope this session's given you something out of this, and hope that helps.